Hi.
Hey everyone.
Yeah.
So we're gonna first start off by, we got a chance to talk to a few interesting people this week. We got to talk to a food truck vendor for a long conversation. We went up to San Francisco to a food truck event, and there we talked to families sitting down. And we also got a chance to talk to the people who facilitate it at a company called Off the Grid. We actually walked into their office, cold call, and got a conversation with the manager there. So we got a holistic side of the story.
So first, one of the first surprising things that made us think differently is just the culture and community around food trucks. With Off the Grid, these people, or at least who we talked to, Josh, they're dedicated, they're emotionally invested, they want to help food trucks, and they want to make food trucks a huge company. Also, something interesting is that he said, if it's popping off here, we're here. If it's popping off over there, we're there, which was just interesting because we didn't really think of it that way. Secondly, he also said cities are expanding, people are coming to cities, there's nowhere to go, so then the price of the property goes up. That makes the food go up. So they're there to make the food come and be in a space that isn't there, which was really interesting. Then we also talked to Bread at one of the food trucks, and he wanted to engage with the people. He was giving them their food, taking the orders. And when Alan and I talked to him, he was he leaned back on the table and was like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah. And
hey.
This is with a 20-minute line. He leaned down, he really stopped everything he was doing and had a face-to-face, eye-to-eye conversation with us. And we have an interview set up with him tomorrow by phone, and he runs multiple trucks out of LA and San Francisco, mobile operations.
And just the culture and community, food trucks do better when they're all together, when there's events, when they're put together, and Off the Grid helps facilitate that. So yeah.
Another thing that we found very surprising was that we saw in a lot of instances where lines did not deter business. So we saw it at Stanford and we saw at Off the Grid at Fort Mason. Bread's food truck specifically had a 20-minute line surrounded by booths on either side, and it not only did it not deter people, it seemed to encourage people to get into that line and stand in line. And then not only that, in the lines, it was not a painful experience. No one was complaining. It was just people talking to each other and really just enjoying the experience of standing in line and waiting for this chicken sandwich that turned out to be very good. And then on top of that was just Bread's demeanor and the way that he managed the line. It was very refreshing and it was a lot of fun. So I thought that was surprising, kind of going into this thinking, lines are going to be maybe something to address.
And then this third thing is this whole idea of tech is hurting food. This is a direct quote from Josh at Off the Grid during our 30-40 minute interview with him. And then he mentioned Yelp and Google, and you want to get into that?
He talked about how Yelp was stealing business, and he was expressing a sentiment of how you have a customer, you have a vendor, and these people are doing business with each other, but then there's this third-party entity that's not really connected to either one, but yet has tremendous influence on the business. Whereas, if you get one or two bad reviews, I had a stomach ache afterwards, then people will decide not to go to that truck based on that. And that was something that came up at the Stanford, right? What did the guy tell you?
Oh, told me, yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much he said to me at this random guy at the Stanford food truck said, I don't go to those food trucks because they hurt my stomach. I come here because it's better quality. And he could be on Yelp, making those other people not go to the other food trucks and only come to these ones. So it's just an interesting viewpoint on food trucks in general and how tech is hurting food and food trucks come in there. So that's pretty much it. So just to summarize, we had a full conversation with Josh at Off the Grid. we had multiple conversations with people at tables, and then we had a full conversation with Eli Janigo about his food truck and his food truck experience. And the 3 things we found surprising were culture and community, lines in general, and that tech is hurting food.
And then just one other thing is that we do have 2 more interviews scheduled, one with Bread and then one with Taylor at Off the Grid, who actually contracts the food trucks to come here to Stanford. So getting in touch with a lot of these people was a challenge over the weekend, but a lot of them are happy to set up times during the week. So that's something that we'll be continuing to follow up on and work with.
Yeah. All right. See you in class in 15 minutes.